Hey, all you cool cats and kittens! It's David Gordon from TheaterMania here with. I knew I'd get you.
Yeah.
Here with Drew Gasparini, composer songwriter. His album "We Aren't Kids Anymore" is out today. You can get it on iTunes, Spotify.
Yes, sir.
Digital music is provided for you. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks so much for having me here and talking about the album and starting this off with a throw to Carol Baskins. That's very
Yeah,
nice of you.
she's
Very topical.
the Tiger King. Is it?
It is it. And I don't know if you're following Andrew Lippa on Twitter, but he's completely lost his mind, and he's taking the idea of writing a Tiger King musical very to heart, and he's like
Yeah,
made the artwork for it and stuff.
I'm gonna have to have him on too one day.
It's crazy. I imagine him going like full Howard Hughes crazy during this quarantine and like wearing Kleenex boxes on his feet and like, Tiger King. They're just going nuts about it like a mad scientist.
How are you doing these days?
I'm doing good. I came out the other end of the worst part of it. I had COVID-19 a couple weeks ago. Probably still going through some stuff now, but feeling much better than I was.
Good.
And very excited because we got this album, and I'm really thrilled that we're able to put something out there that I think kind of offers a really hopeful outlook. And I just, it's kind of a hopeless time for a lot right now, and I think that I just feel glad that we're able to still put art out into the world.
Yeah, it's a great album. We listened to it this morning. There are so many vocalists who we love on it. I'm pulling up the list now, and I'm going to read it just so I don't forget anybody.
Cool.
Colton Ryan, Lily Cooper, Nick Christopher, Bonnie Milligan. Did I get everybody? Am I forgetting everybody? Anybody?
Raymond J.
Lee, my hero.
Absolutely, yeah, my hero as well. He did the Skittles musical with me when I wrote for the Super Bowl, and I fell in love with him. Now I only ever want to work with him. He's so great.
Genius.
We really lucked out with those 5 singers. They were my first choices for all of those tracks, and they're, in my humblest of opinions, some of the best talents on Broadway today.
They really are. So this album is a song cycle.
It is a song cycle.
The album.
Say again?
Tell us about the album.
Sure thing. It is 19 songs, which sounds like such a big commitment, but it really does have this strung together theme. And a lot of what the albums, when we started putting together the song cycle, it was just to kind of tell my own story as an artist, I guess, and see how it could connect to others. And I think, once I started writing the songs, it didn't feel like they were necessarily my songs per se. It really did feel like there was some connective tissue between what I was trying to write and what other people were also feeling.
Right.
It's reassuring to know and learn, especially through writing or creating something, that your own fears and your own stresses and your own outlooks and
Drew.
Related to several other people, you feel a lot less alone, and that's what creating this album and this song cycle has kind of been, for me at least. It's made me feel very connected to everybody who's been a part of the process and everybody who's listened to it. The response has been so lovely so far. I'm beyond glad.
People have been tweeting to you all day about how much they love it.
All day, and you know what? Keep it coming. All the love is nice. It's nice.
Is there a plan to license this? I read.
Yeah, so that is definitely part of the plan. Along with the release of this album, we did development of this as a stage piece down at Christopher Newport University in Virginia. They gave us space, they gave us students to use as a cast, and it was amazing. And it really helped us see this show with the 5-person cast like it is on the record, or how it could be done with 15, 20 people.
Oh, that's cool too.
So yes, this will be a licensable property through Concord Theatrical. They're my publishing company, and they've been very helpful throughout all of this. So schools and theaters across the world will be able to do this show, and I think the licensing rights are available now-ish, or they're going to be very soon.
Great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Is there an overarching story, or is it just sort of a song cycle about?
You know what? It is your story. That's what it is. It's like as general as that can seem. It is. I think there's a way in. My hope, at least, is that there is a way in for everybody. Like I said, it started as my story, but the more we developed and the more we gathered reactions from everybody else and these performers, the more we saw that this was just kind of a page out of everyone's diary.
Right.
And I think everybody, even in my 30s now, I'm 30, I'm about to turn 34 on April 20th.
Happy birthday.
The older I get, it's so strange. The more afraid of adulthood I become.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like there's a commonality in that thought of kind of being afraid of what's the uneasy future. Like when I was younger, ignorance is bliss, and you don't really realize how scary everything is. So you go full tilt boogie, you go like as hard as you can. You're so hungry for it all, and then when like actual validation and actual success start coming into your life, you're like, it gets trepidatious at times.
This might sound like a silly question, but how do you put together an album like this? Like not like the mixing vocalist.
We literally had focus groups.
Really?
Yeah, not a joke at all. And I recommend that to any writer who's trying to put together a piece, especially if it's supposed to be a cohesive piece where all the songs kind of live in the same universe.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's 19 songs on this album, but I think we kind of carved through 25 or so songs that I had written within the umbrella of the themes that we cover. And we held a few focus groups where I just had some friends come and sing the material, and we had a round table of friends that we respected and artists that we knew and people within the business, people very not in the business, to get their input as well. And it really helped us kind of hone in on what the show was going to be. Listening to an audience, that's something The Rock always says.
Yeah.
To what your audience wants. And I think that's very important. We can all jerk ourselves off as an artist and just do the thing we want. Anybody can do that, and I've certainly done that. But this seemed, I didn't want it to feel like me. I wanted it to feel like everybody else. So those focus were very important for an album like this.
That's really cool. I've never heard of that before, so that's awesome.
I don't know that it gets done all the time. Erica Rothstein, my manager, and she's also a producer on this, it was all her idea. I mean, like, she really kind of helped us formulate this piece. She was kind of a genius about it.
Yeah, people watching at home, if you have questions for Drew, pop them in the comments. We'll get through them. I'll ask them.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a lot of things, actually. I want to talk about the Skittles musical.
Sure.
Skittles commercial, the musical? Is that what the full one was?
Skittles commercial, the Broadway musical.
Yeah, which was so delightful and weird.
Did you see it?
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it.
Great. Oh, my God, great.
Last year. Set in a convenience store. It was a weird existential musical about...
Set in a bodega, and Michael C. Hall played a bodega cat.
Yep. Written by Will Eno, the king of existential contemporary plays.
Exactly.
How did you come into that project, and like, how was it pitched to you?
It was a friend of mine, John Johnson, who is an Uber producer. He works for Joey Parnes, and now he's got his own general management company. He's a big Tony Award-winning producer, and I've been friends with him for a long time. I think he produced one of my first Joe's Pub shows, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. But his wife worked for an advertising company, and she suggested me for this project. And I still had to audition, and I wrote a few songs. And basically the prompt was, can you write something that basically sounds exactly like Dear Evan Hansen, because we're trying to make fun of the sincerity of that score. Sure. And I love that score. That's not me saying we're making fun of it. And I don't think it looked like we were making fun of Dear Evan Hansen at all. But they wanted to take the earnestness of those songs, like You Will Be Found, and like, it almost sounds like praise, like spiritual music. You know what I mean? So I took that, and then we wrote very silly lyrics over it with the other co-writer, Nathaniel Lawler, who's a marketing genius. And I got the job. I'm very, very thankful I got it, because it's weirdly like the biggest tick in my career.
Yeah, it was just Michael C. Hall as a bodega cat.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's all you need to say to like really make it clear what it was.
Yeah.
Michael C. Hall as a bodega cat, and it was a Super Bowl ad it was a 45-minute long Super Bowl ad. And I'll tell you honestly, it was about 5 weeks we had to write a full musical, costumes, sets, directed, choreographed, and record a cast album. We had to do it all in 5 weeks. It seemed so impossible. I don't think I slept for the entire time, and it felt very much like a fever dream.
The cast album is on Spotify.
It is on Spotify. I believe it's still there. And it's on vinyl. I have it back there, but I have a vinyl copy of it.
The highlight of the cast recording for me, beyond your music, of course, is there's just a 5-minute track of Michael C. Hall just eating Skittles.
We recorded about 22 minutes of him just eating Skittles, and he was really eating them. I mean, like, we were all like so sick to our stomachs from all the Skittles we had to eat during the making of this, but he was just in there just chomping away. And so, yeah, if you like whatever it is, ASM or whatever that's right, if you love that kind of shit, then go listen to the track of 4 minutes of Michael C. Hall eating Skittles.
It blew my mind how much money they spent on that thing. The set was like one of the most detailed, involved sets I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
For Broadway shows.
Yeah, and I'm not to sound like a turd. I can't, for the amount of time we spent on this, I cannot believe what I was paid. It was insane how much money they had to spend. But it's in lieu of doing an actual Super Bowl ad, which is like $4 million to buy 30 seconds.
Right.
You know, so like, why spend that much money on 30 seconds when you can spend that much money on a 45-minute musical? I think it was a genius idea.
Yeah.
Smuggler, that was the advertising agency. Smuggler. Shout out to Smuggler.
Yeah. A question from a viewer. When did you start working on this new song cycle, and do you have a favorite song from the album?
Thanks for the question. I started working on it about 3-ish years ago, and I do these 54 Below shows in New York City quite frequently. And much like stand-up comics, when they want to like test out their new material, they go do an open mic or something. I kind of treat my 54 Below shows as the testing ground for a lot of material. So over the years, I've been kind of seeing what an audience's reaction is to all these songs. And my personal favorite on the album, just based on the way it turned out, I could listen to it again and again and again, is called Turn the Page, featuring Lily Cooper. And our producer, Justin Goldner, he just made this track slap, dude. It doesn't even feel like theater. Half the album doesn't even feel like theater to me. It just like just this pop awesomeness. It's so fun to listen to. I can't believe I'm saying this. It is. It's fun to listen to.
It's great. It's a really great album, and all of the vocalists sound amazing.
Thank you.
Another question: are there going to be physical copies made? Trevor over here wants to add it to his collection.
I love that you still have a collection of physical albums. I too collect albums. We've discussed this about releasing maybe a few, but ultimately the money spent on getting those made and distributed compared to who's going to buy those really stack up. And the numbers didn't make sense to our producers and our team. So I think we're just going to go fully digital with this, which is kind of the wave of the future. We've all been living in this streaming world for a long time. Totally. So streaming is the way we do this.
We've got a cat visitor right here.
Hey, pussycat, how you doing?
It's getting antsy. He was asleep so nicely. Where are you in the Karate Kid? Because you are working on the Karate Kid the musical.
That is correct. We just had our read right before all the scariness really started happening and the lockdown and Broadway closing and everything started. We were able to squeeze in our first industry reading. It went. I wish I could release footage of the reading because that's how great it was received. That's how excited all the creatives were in the room. I've never in my life been a part of a reading that's gone that well. It's a first reading, and we were like, we have a Broadway show. It felt so good.
That's awesome. Is there a timeline, or was there a timeline for it before all of this?
The timeline right now that I can kind of give away is we're going to do a lab in September. Cool. Our choreographers are Keone and Mari Madrid. They are doing the Britney Spears musical, which just got delayed, sadly. But so we're working around their schedules to do a lab with movement and a little bit of staging. And then we're going to do an out of town, and hopefully that out of town will be spring of 2021. And then if all goes well, we go Broadway as soon as there's a theater available for us. Cool. So in the next 2-3 years, hopefully.
Were you a fan of that movie growing up?
Of course. Of course. I mean, like, I honestly don't know any. I always say this. I say that Karate Kid, this is going to be a soundbite that's going to be used in interviews forever. But I always say that Karate Kid is a lot like the Beatles in the sense that when you're born, even if you were born after the fact, after you were, around, you still know who the Beatles are. Like it just kind of seeps into our psyche even as kids. And I feel like Karate Kid is that movie. It's so immersed in popular culture. I call it the sleepover movie because it's the movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sandlot were the two movies that I always watched at every sleepover when I was a kid.
Mighty Ducks was.
Oh yeah, huge.
Yeah. You're working with Alex Brightman, your writing partner, on several projects. What are you writing?
My hubby, yes, he and I have been writing together for the better part of 10 years. We've written several shows together and lots of comedy bits, and we have a comedy collective with Andrew Kober and F. Michael Haney called The Morons.
Right.
We've done a lot of performing around the city, so we've done a lot of stuff. And right now we're working on the stage adaptation of the Ned Vizzini novel. He wrote Be More Chill. He has another novel called It's Kind of a Funny Story. I think it's his better known novel. There was a movie with Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
The movie is not where we're headed. We're living closer to the book. So if there are fans out there, just know that we're very much adapting off of the book. So we're doing that with Universal. Cool. And before all of this happened, we were about to schedule our next step in development, which is a reading with a theater that I cannot announce yet. Sure. But that was supposed to happen sometime this spring, and now we don't know. So still working on it. And he and I are also working on an adaptation of the children's novel, The Whipping Boy, and we're into an animated motion picture. So we're pitching that right now. So we're very excited.
Busy.
Gotta stay busy, man. Gotta.
Going into a COVID question real fast. Do you know, I mean, the impossible question is, do you know where you got, were you exposed to someone? Do you know how?
I know someone told me that after they had just seen me, that they were exposed to it. So there's a great possibility that interaction may have had something to do with me being a carrier of the virus. But honestly, in New York, I don't think it's possible to say I got it from here. It is so rampant, and I don't know. I wish I know.
Yeah, you seem more or less better-ish.
Oh yeah, I mean, compared to what I was about 10 days ago, I could not even get out of bed, and there was a couple of times in a row that I was shivering so bad that when I went up to go to the bathroom or get a glass of water or something like that, I had to crawl. I couldn't even get up. Like it is a terrifying virus, and I'm not saying that to drag this mood down. Stay vigilant, everybody out there. Do everything that our governor is saying to do. Please take it seriously and stay inside and social distance. It is super contagious, and our bodies are not equipped, frankly.
Yeah.
For this thing, should your symptoms get as bad as personally they got for me. I know some people have lighter symptoms, but if it gets bad, having a fever for 14 days does not feel like you're going to survive.
Oof.
I mean,
yeah.
So, and if I'm considered one of the lucky ones who didn't need to go to the ICU, then my heart breaks for everybody who has it worse. So please take it seriously, everybody. Anybody who's listening. First of all, thanks for listening to the album. Secondly, please stay inside.
I'm going to lighten the mood and do something completely different.
Sure.
Do you guys listen to Eminem? I listen to Eminem. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. What? I love Eminem. I think I hear a lot of Eminem influence in tons of In the Heights. Isn't that weird? Yeah. Every time I listen to In the Heights, I'm like, his rhythm pattern is so Eminem centric in so many places. I love it. That's a great question. Yes, Eminem's the best.
Would you be willing to play something from the new album for us?
I'd love to play a song for you off the new album, and I'll play one that I know the words to.
Sure.
Okay.
Perfect.
And forgive me, my lungs just went through the ringer with COVID, so we'll see how this goes. And I'll keep turning back to say hi, but We'll be a back to the camera kind of performance. Sorry about that. I don't know what track this is on the album, but Raymond J. Lee, he sings it 1,000 times better than I'm about to right now. So go check out the album, but this song is called Something Good. I think I've reached my cap. I think I've hit my limit. No more smiling through the crap you put me through. I always do. Don't act like you're all that. I've seen some nasty weather when you used to have my back, and shit was tied together when you knew it was something good. You had someone who understood. And now I can't go on pretending that you're acting like you should. But I'm here because I know I'll grow back into something good. Your fabrication stack, they grow into a pile while you wear that silly mask and play pretend. Your fortress starts to crack. I see you and I know I liked you best when you were fat. You used to know exactly who you were. It was something good. You had friends who understood. And now I can't go on pretending that you're acting like you should. I'm still here because I know you'll grow back into something good. Sit through shallow conversation, talk to the wall. I might as well though. Who knew you could take the only moment that I needed and make it something that was all about you? Because the truth is that I'm watching from a place where you once stood, and I'm losing sight of who you were, inside of something good.
Thank you for doing that.
Of course, my pleasure, man.
There are a couple of extra questions that we've gotten while you were playing, if you're down for answering a couple.
Totally, man. That's why I'm here.
Some of the stories on the album are very personal. Is it easier to convey these personal experiences through song?
These ones specifically, yes, they were. It was there's a moment when I started writing this when my confidence level was pretty down, and it was due to a lot of factors. It was a relationship that was kind of not working out, and parts of that relationship had me sitting in a place that I didn't feel like I could crawl back out of. Mm-hmm. And in lieu of having these conversations with people I probably desperately needed to have these conversations with, my thoughts funneled out into lyrics, and showing someone the song kind of became an easier way of saying, here's how I feel. Totally. So absolutely. And that's not always the case. I don't want to sound like one of those writers just like, I just say it better in a song, man.
Yeah.
But for this album in particular, I was trying to open up a vein a little and give it.
What do you write first, music or lyrics?
I love this question. Only because it's the most commonly asked question to any songwriter, and it just depends. Typically for musicals, like for It's Kind of a Funny Story, for example, which I'm writing with Alex Brightman. So you have to be mindful of what the characters are saying. You have to be mindful of the proper way they would say it, not how you would say it. So to me, in musical theater, it's wise for my process that I write the lyrics first, so I can be true to what the character's saying and then build the song around that. But when I'm writing stuff for myself, I just love a pop melody, man. I love that shit. I could go up all day and I'll just start jamming on some goofy words and goofy chords and have a good time.
Victoria has loved your music for years. Will you ever do a studio recording of Dear Tom?
Yeah, people ask that all the time. On my first theater album called I Could Use a Drink, that Broadway Records released in 2013, goodness gracious, that's how long it's been since my last release. Oh my God. We have the counter song to that song she's referring to. There's a song called Dear Tom, and there's a song called Dear Lucy. And it's about these two characters writing letters to each other, and we've performed it live a bunch of times in that context.
Yeah.
For some reason in the album, we decided to just leave Dear Tom out. So there's a one-sided story on the album. because it was just kind of a hodgepodge of songs as opposed to trying to put a through line through any of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can expect, I mean, like I'm not kidding when I say I have literal piles and piles of songs, probably in the thousands. Every 54 Below show I do is a brand new set of songs. I never repeat stuff. It is always a brand new set of songs, except for when we did a re-release of I Could Use a Drink. So I have all these songs ready to go, and it maybe over the next 10 years or so, me and my partner in music, Justin Goldner, will start producing albums and releasing all of these trunk songs, and Dear Tom is certainly a part of that pile.
Do you have sheet music online for I Could Use a Drink?
For the album or the song? Either way, I don't think the I Could Use a Drink, the song, is available music-wise. We were going to put it out, but I think it got deemed too inappropriate somehow, maybe. But all of the songs off of the album, the vocal selections are on newmusicaltheater.com, and many of them are on musicnotes.com, and that's where you can find any sheet music of mine that is available. And some pirated weirdos that transcribe my shit and put it on the internet, it's there too.
Yeah. Just a compliment for you. The album is phenomenal. So much amazing talent.
Thanks so much, Megan. That's very kind of you to say. I'm glad you liked it.
Your album is absolutely amazing. Great job.
Wow, this is lovely. Thanks, guys.
Love the song.
OMG, hoo-hoo. What's hoo-hoo?
I don't know, but loves the song.
Well, I love hoo-hoo. So
yeah.
Mutual, I guess.
Drew, thank you for your time this afternoon. Feel better.
Man, thank you so much for having me and giving us all the shout-outs with the album and stuff. And thanks, everybody, for asking questions and saying hi.
Of course. Happy Easter to all of you watching. Happy Passover to all of you watching. We'll be back on Monday at 2 o'clock with Will Rowland from Be More Chill and Dear Evan Hansen. Have a good weekend.
I will.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.